revitalized and refreshed. And I am KaRa. And I come at this time to be with you in these momentous changing times. You have been speaking of this, of the momentum that is happening here in this country of your United States for America, as well as many other countries across the world. For these are wide, sweeping changes that are happening, all to bring about the great changeover and to lead to that which you have heard called the event, or the changeover, or the solar flash. All of this is leading to that. But before that, you are in the transition that is happening right now, the transition that is leading toward many changes. Some of those changes being new technology being released everywhere. And this technology is coming. It is coming. It is already being advanced in many areas. Many of the councils that we have spoken of, the Earth Councils, the Galactic Councils, all of this have been speaking about releasing these new technologies, these new energies, these new medical understandings that are beyond the medical understanding of today, beyond the allopathic medicine that is practiced today. For there will be no more practicing of anything. It will be real. It will be those that know what they are doing and do not question it, because this is technology coming that is beyond anything that this world at this point has. But it is coming. It is being released slowly at first, but then, just like anything, to gain momentum more and more. And there are centers being planned everywhere to bring this technology forward, these med beds, if you wish to call them that. But they are the precursors of the celestial chambers, the celestial healing chambers that you have also heard about. And some have even visited those chambers within their light body or within their astral body. They are real. And they are coming forward more and more. And these technologies are based in consciousness and vibrational frequency working together and bringing about the changes or the restructuring within the DNA processes that you have heard about. Literally bringing DNA back to where you want it to be, back to before it was changed, before it was shifted away from the balanced DNA that you are all meant to be in and have a balanced DNA structure. And do not forget about the changing of the DNA to add more DNA, more beyond the double helix, reconnecting here and there. All of this is coming. And the reason I am bringing this up now, and the reason that James brought this up in your discussion earlier, is because we want you now, we being all of the galactics, the ascended masters, the Agarthans, all of your guides that are working with you, your higher God selves, all that are working with you, want you now to begin to share more and more as you are able, as the situation calls for it. Share, be open. Do not be afraid to speak about these things now, these new technologies. Just as your President Trump spoke about this in 2016, he hinted at it. He even mentioned it almost directly, that these technologies would replace the ones that you have now. So those of your pharmaceutical companies will no longer be. Those of your medical hospitals, as you know them now, will no longer be. It is the change. It is the changeover that you have all been expecting, waiting for. Do not feel like it is not coming. Do not feel anger in any way that it has not happened yet, because it is all a process that must continue just in the way it is doing, because mankind right now is not ready for this, to be deluged with these changes all up front. Overnight changes are not possible at this point. It will become more so. But for now, just know it as what it is, a transition where everything is moving in the direction of light and love and higher consciousness. This is where you are all headed. This is what is coming in your next year. Not to give a prediction, but in your next year, expect miracles to come. That is what is happening. Miracles, scientific and spiritual miracles. Many will look at these as miracles. You yourselves will know this, though. Know it for what it is. You will know it as the combining of science and spirit coming together. That is where your technology is leading toward. And yes, technology can be used for evil forces, can be used by the dark forces, just as it has been up until now. But those times are changing. You are moving beyond the darkness. You are moving fully into the light more and more. So expect the miracles. I am KaRa, and I leave you now in peace and love and oneness, that you would continue to move in the direction of this transition and allow the entire process to continue to play out. And I release now momentarily to another that wishes to address this group and to all of those that resonate to these words. Peace and love be with all of you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you, KaRa. Cheers.
And I am Yeshua, and I come just briefly now to prepare you for the changes of this next year, to the changes that are coming even in this next week that you are moving into, this being your Christmas season. And because you are not having what you would call a Christmas call, I wish to just come in briefly and share the meaning of Christmas, what it is really all about. It is somewhat of a tradition that I would come and share in this way. Know that the Christmas season is everything about peace and love and oneness and sharing with each other. Yes, giving gifts and receiving gifts is part of it. But it is so much beyond that, and it is certainly so much beyond the day of my birth. For as many of you know, that this was not the day of my birth, but it is the day of the birth of the Christ consciousness. If you look at it that way, each and every Christmas season, that the Christ consciousness is born once again with all of you, with all of us. That is what this is about. Peace coming to the world. Love spreading everywhere. See it that way. Feel it that way. On Christmas morning, as you rise in the morning, feel the love. Begin to share that love, that peace, that oneness. Share it with everyone that you come in contact with. And if it is just your families, feel it with them. Share it with them. For that is what this Christmas season is about, is sharing with one another, being with one another, being at peace, at love. And do not feel in any way that the darkness that is out there can intrude on this day, this Christmas Day. For on that day, even though they attempt to bring their changes forward, they are thwarted, especially on that day, because there is so much love and peace being spread across the planet. Even to those that do not celebrate the Christmas season as you know it here, even those are still celebrating within their higher consciousness, because it is all one together coming on that day. That is all I wish to say at this time. Just feel the peace, feel the love, feel the connection of one to another, of all of mankind, mankind consciously coming together in love and peace. Peace to the world. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om. Greetings to one who serves here. Shoshana is here. And we are ready to continue with this transition as you are understanding more and more that you are simply going through a transition. It is all part of the greater plan, as you have heard many, many times. So just know that as you continue to move through your daily expressions, your moment-to-moment expressions, of course, being in the moment as much as you possibly can, know that this is simply the transition that you are moving through, and the changes that are coming and the momentum that is gathering here is becoming greater and greater and greater. And soon, very soon, you are going to not only see the changes and know the changes, but so are the ones around you going to become more and more aware of these changes. It is all part of the greater plan, all part of what needs to be expressed here to bring this all about. The light winning over the dark, just as it already has, but you just have not fully seen it yet, because the veil, as you know it, although gone, is still not gone from within your full programming here. But that is also coming. We are ready for your questions if you have them. You can unmute your phones and ask a question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Will the med beds, if not right away, eventually will they be able to heal psychological problems as well?
Not so much psychological, because that is part of each one's plan, each one's path that they must traverse. They must go through their various traumas, psychological, mental, all of this. Only the physical part of this is what is healed. But know that as the healing of the physical occurs, it also will bring about great healing to that of the psychological and mental traumas, the old memories, the old programming will also be healed, because the physical body will be relieved of the pain and suffering. So that one within that physical body can then move more freely and look at other things beyond the old traumas, you see? Shoshana, do you have anything you had here?
We do not have different perspectives, but we may add something here. May we add something, dear sister?
Please, yes.
Dear sister, most beings on the planet already have the mechanism to heal their own traumas, to heal their own issues if they wish to participate in that healing. The challenge has always been the attachment to illness, the attachment to mental instability. There is much attachment to this. And the being that wishes to release these traumas has the capacity to do so by simply becoming unattached to them, you see, to give them up, so to speak. Namaste.
Yes, and we would also say that there are ones that will not have physical healing even because they are attached to the pain, attached to everything that pain brings to them in their life, and will not be able to become unattached to that for the physical healing to occur. It is very similar to as Yeshua performed those what you would call miracles of healing, and the one that was healed, it did not last because that one did not have the faith that it would last. You see? It is very similar. Would there be other questions here?
Thank you. Namaste. I have a question.
Yes.
I was recently put back on blood pressure medication because I've been trying not to take it, and then every time I end up having my blood pressure taken, it's been high. Is this something, still being on medications of any type, going to hold us back from attention? And can I just walk away from them?
We would caution you to simply walk away from it. We would say that you have a saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So as you are moving through this transition and you are having these physical ailments, those various remedies that are available can be helpful and even life-saving at times. Now, with that understanding, we would say that more and more you would want to move away from this as you can. Begin to think about it that way. Begin to create that in your mind that you do not have need for this. Before you simply go off, as you say, cold turkey, do not do that. But begin to wean yourself away from it, first within your mind, and then your mind will take over the old programming and let go of the need for it fully. And as you move more fully through this transition and raise your consciousness, that will also take care of and alleviate the need for these various drugs of any type here. Consciousness moves beyond any need for anything the physical body required within the illusion. You see? Shana,
We can share. Do you wish for us to share, dear sister?
Yes, please do, darling.
Dear sister, we will ask a question here. What do you think has caused this increase in this blood pressure issue? As we understand what you said was that you are back on medication, which means you were not on medication. So what has caused this?
It's not on it because I'm taking it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say I was not on it because I wasn't taking it. It was my. I took myself off it.
And we would ask what the result of not taking it was.
It was high. My blood pressure was high, and it's been high. It's a long story. I had preeclampsia with both sons when I had both sons, and very high, like 210 over 170, like you're going to die any minute, that kind of high. And it's really kind of been high ever since. Not that high, but high enough that it's an issue. And I kept saying, oh, well, maybe it's high because it's ascension, and it's, so I was trying, I didn't want to take the medicine, so I wasn't taking it. And then every time it turned up for whatever reason, my blood pressure was taken, it was still high. So I figured I have to go back on it. I'm just pushing a heart attack if I don't.
Our question, dear sister, is what were the ill effects of not taking the medicine? What were you noticing in your life that was not tolerable in the physical?
Well, it's not that it's not tolerable, but I definitely had visual issues going on that I was cropping up to ascension that may not have been ascension. It was probably my blood pressure the whole time. It was just high the whole time, and I was not taking the medicine. You know what I mean?
Yes, dear sister. We will continue here for just a moment. May we continue?
Please do.
Dear sister, the body responds to several conditions that creates the heart to increase the blood pressure, to increase the speed of the flow of the blood through the arteries, you see, which creates pressure. There are reasons for this, dear sister, that you have control of. We will offer one. We will offer the idea of the physical. There is a process called chelation therapy. Have you heard of this, dear sister?
No, actually. I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is.
Dear sister, we would prompt you, we would advise you to look into this. As this process chelates the minerals that are stuck to your arteries out of your body. It is a process that is not so common to the medical model, but it is an alternative therapy that will assist the pressure of your blood to slow down, you see. So we would ask that you look into this thing called chelation therapy as an option to drug therapy. The other part of this is your emotional body. We find that your emotional body is extremely sensitive to your surroundings. And because your emotional body is extremely sensitive to your surroundings, you tend to have bouts of emotion, we would say, that you wish not to have, but you have them. And these bouts of emotion that you have, these frustrations, these sadnesses, these depressions, these anger parts of you are causing your heart to disrupt. So there is not just a physical aspect of the issue that you are experiencing. You have the emotional aspect, which is a reaction to your surroundings and your environment. We will say that this is complicated, and if you wish for more ideas on this, we would suggest that you email shoshanashares@gmail.com. We do not wish to be a commercial, but the challenges are to discuss this openly on a public call when there is much to share here, you see.
Yep.
We would suggest that. Namaste.
I'm going to do that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good. Are there further questions here now?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I had to chime in because I have the exact same issue that she just mentioned, which is I've had high blood pressure my entire life. I'm pretty high-strung in general, just my energetic level, I should say. And I guess my question would be, do I also have an emotional aspect to that? Because I am looking at chelation therapy as you mentioned it. I'm bringing it up. It is spelled CHELATION for the prior person. And my question is, do I also have a parallel, as you just stated to her, do I have a parallel emotional level issue that also needs to be addressed? I'm also not taking drugs, I have it sitting right here. Every time I go to the hospital, they try to tell me to go to ER. That is how high it is. It's usually 210 over 190. It's ridiculous. But they always say, you're going to die any minute, any second. They literally tell me that, like you're going to die of a stroke. So, and I have gone to ER before just because of that. Because they're like, we won't even treat you until you go to ER, because it was that high. So I just kind of want to provide that background, very similar to what she just said.
We will turn this to you, Shoshana, since you have brought this particular remedy up here.
Dear brother, we wish to share here, and we would ask also that if you wish for more, that you also ask for this in private, you see. So we will tell you something interesting here. As we find it, your being that you exist in is different. It is different than most. You are a compendium, a compilation of many lifetimes that has been stuffed in this body. And we will say that your situation is not the same. It is, the result is the same, but it is not the same. Your issue is because your body is different. And we will tell you that the medical model that many of you wish to get answers from does not understand your body. You would already be dead if this were something that would kill you. So we would say that there are several things that we would say here. The first thing is that you will not die from this.
Good.
You may wish to lower it. That is not a bad idea, but it is not. It is not critical. You see, it is your body. It is your body responding to an environment that is not native to you. There is much here, but we cannot share any further. We would not be concerned so much about this. There's so much here that we cannot share, but not to ask further. You may in private.
Shoshana shares, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, we would ask that you ask. There is much here. Oh my goodness, there's so much here that we cannot really share publicly.
That's fine. But my only concern is that, I don't really go to doctors anymore. I don't trust them, obviously. But every time I do go, they tell me, you're going to drop dead any second. So it's kind of unnerving. But I personally, my intuitions never felt like it was an issue.
It is
like
not.
It was going to kill me.
It is not. It will not. Namaste.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. Shoshana Shares is a very, very amazing resource for our group for health issues. I just had a session with her a couple days ago about my teeth and mouth, and it was very, very helpful. I highly recommend that you two please do.
attest to that. So thank you.
It is a resource, dear brother, dear sister. It is a resource, but as in all perspectives, it is simply a perspective that is given from a different source, from a different point of view, and it is always your choice to follow and to ask other sources, you see. Our perspective is not perfect, but it is interesting, we would say. Namaste.
Very good. Are there any further questions here before we release John?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How does one make an appointment with Shoshana? Because I'm new to this.
We will respond, dear sister. May we respond?
Yes.
May we have your name?
Marion.
Dear Marion, dear sister, the system that has been provided here through the one we speak through is a Gmail system, and the email is shoshanashares@gmail.com, and the Shoshana is SHOSHANNA shares SHARES @gmail.com. And the process that has been given, we ask for 3 questions. That seems to be the capacity that we can handle, because many of these questions go far into the depth of the being that is asking them. So we ask for 3. And then the also asking is to donate for the time given to you. So the donation is through the website ancientawakenings.org, and you click on the donate button, or if you wish, you can text the Joanna and she will give you a method to donate if that is easier for you. If you cannot donate, if you have the issue of not being able to donate, you can also tell the Joanna that, and she will assist in some way, you see. Because this is not about the financial aspect. It is about healing, you see. And we wish to help, but we also do not wish to work for free, you see. So that is the process, dear Sister Marion. If you wish for more, you can email us and ask for more. Namaste.
Oh, thank you.
Very good. Are there any further questions here?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Jesus. Hello?
Nothing further, then we are ready to...
Could I ask a question?
Yes, you can. What?
I'm new to phoning in. I've been following this group since 2016. And my name's Miranda, and I have like a million questions and that are really sensitive and hard to ask, and I don't know whether it's an appropriate time yet to sort of open up some of these doors. But I feel like this group might feel the same as me, with a whole bunch of questions that are hard to ask because we're afraid to hear the answers. And, well, first of all, is this maybe kind of true that there's almost like a stall in this group over the last 8 to 10 months with asking certain deeper questions, personal ascension questions, because we're afraid to hear the truth, maybe?
First of all, are you wondering if you can ask personal questions on this call? Is that your question?
No, they're like big general questions that are more related to, I don't know.
We wish to share, Miranda, dear sister. May we share?
Yes, please.
Dear sister, there is never an external component to a challenge or an issue within a being. It is always the being that has the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, dear sister, and we are being direct, when you say, dear sister, that there is a stall, we will say that is you, that you are stalled. And that if you wish to ask a bigger question, then ask it. Do not wait for others to participate at that level, because you may be waiting your whole life for that. So we will say that if you have a big question, to ask it. And perhaps when you come forward and ask, then you will give the courage to others to ask. It always starts with one, you see. There is no stall. There is only the idea that it takes courage to ask questions, and that is why so many do not. They fear the answer. Namaste.
Yeah, well, that's like exactly what I've been experiencing personally. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should ask this question. Can I ask the question to one of those Tom-Six and Shoshana?
Yes, you can ask questions.
Okay. Well, I guess it has to do with Earth and its grand experiment and the reason for it and what it is and why. Maybe this has already been covered. Maybe people already know this, but I haven't heard people talk openly so much about this. Accepting that God is in everything and everyone, including the chimera, this kind of thing. And so that if something is in the mind of God, in the mind of all, that eventually it will manifest. And if it's something that is deeply uncomfortable for the most of us, then maybe planet Earth, even the word planet is planet, Earth. And if you put the H at the front, it spells heart. There's a heart in Earth, I don't know, this is incredible. In the language, it's everything, how intricate and very planned out and serious the situation is. If eternity is real, then there's a very serious component. And,
sister, we find that you do not have a question.
Yeah.
You must have a question.
Yeah, the question is related to homeopathy. That if you subject an entity to the poison, that it's inoculation that will cure it. I think this is a real practice.
Of course.
So I'm wondering then if planet Earth is a deep experiment to, not even an experiment, but a situation to inoculate, like homeopathy, the universe against things in the mind field that this power over others, which eventually, in my opinion, leads to, sexual energy is the most potent energy in the universe. So power over others, I think, if you take it to the extreme, becomes pedophilia, which is such a real issue on this planet. You get war, pestilence, all the possible sort of distortions and anomalies that seem to be present here on purpose to subject.
We need to stop you there because you're what you call rambling. Yes, we need to have direct question in order to give direct answer.
But not that all that you are saying could be true, is true, may be true for you, for others. But the way that you receive a specific answer is to ask a specific question. So we would say that it is important for you to sit with yourself and write your questions down specifically in order to ask them, rather than to give us the ideas that you are giving, which is very broad brush and cannot be explained without a question. So do you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, the question is Earth, is what's happening here on Earth directly related to the idea of homeopathy? To cure something within the mind field.
Maybe. We will share here, dear sister. We will continue to share. May we share?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah.
This is true at some level and not true at other levels, because each soul comes here for a specific path, for specific purposes that are specific to that soul. So there are many things going on this planet. Many things that will not affect you, and many things that will. Depending upon your plan, depending upon what you decided would be your experience here, before you came into the body, you decided what your experiences would be, and you came into an experiment called free will, which is very difficult for most, because most do not want to make decisions or choices. They just want answers, you see. They do not want to experiment. So in some ways, you are saying things that are accurate, and it may be accurate for you, and there are others that will never experience what you are saying, because it is not within their path to experience that. That is how we can answer your question, dear sister. If you have specific things that are specific to your path, then you will experience those things, and you will come up with ideas, and you will come up with comparisons, and you will come up with connections that are conducive to your own growth. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, namaste.
Very good. And we are done for the time and need to release channel. Shoshana, do you have anything you wish to impart here?
We will say that it is important for each being to attempt in every way to follow their path, to meet their own criteria, to listen to the higher guidance that is given to them through their higher self, and attempt to, in all ways, receive the answer that is necessary for them to move forward in consciousness, and to remember that it is an individualized experience of the God Source. It is an individualized experience, and that what each experiences does not necessarily mean that the being next to them is experiencing the same thing. It is all individualized, and that is the conundrum and the difficulty that most will face here. But you must face it with divine understanding and connect to your higher self for the answers. Namaste.
Very good. And we would close here with just suggesting that you begin more and more to share wherever you possibly can the changes that are coming are part of you now, the technology that is being released. It is time to raise consciousness across the planet more and more, and this is how you begin to do it, one person here at a time. Shanti, peace be with you. Be the one.
Cheers.